Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, October 10 already, 2025 after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call and all the rest tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, and pick up where we left off on the Time for Change call. Now, we all live in cages of some type, shape, or form. When we feel disconnected from our spiritual nature, anything or anyone can feel like a prison. Perhaps our physical body, financial situation, emotions, spouse, or even our own limiting personality can make us feel stuck and trapped. Good news is that whatever cage that any of us are locked up in actually does have a key. That key is sitting there, resting inside the lock, ready to be turned when you've had enough suffering and are ready to set your spirit free once again. You want to make sure you're in a comfortable position, no outside distraction or interruption, relaxed into your body, still as a statue, focused on your breath rising and falling. Now, a lot of us, I guess we all have different interpretations of what to us freedom means. Turning your key simply manifests on its own after understanding a few basic principles about what real freedom is and what it is not. Being totally wild and absolutely free is not some radical, rebellious, or disrespectful approach to this life. It is also not about conquering some controlling authority out there who is dictating the rules. How we should and shouldn't live our lives. We do not need permission from anybody else to manifest the life we want to create. Real liberation in life is not a pushing away to find freedom from someone or from something. It is more peaceful than that. It's about finding that which is already free inside us to be, do, and believe whatever we want. Real freedom is about recognizing how you already are the final word and ultimate authority of your life. It is knowing that what you honestly believe is what becomes real. And this is the end truth and final reality. Let's just say there are several billion different realities on this planet right now. And you are one of them. The moment we choose to believe we can be a wild and fully self-expressed, fun-free being is the exact same moment we realize that we already are the absolute final authority of our lives. Everything out there, all the things that we have been trained, educated, whatever, experienced, is a construct, okay? And the construct dictates to all of us what we should believe freedom is. The freedom is reconnecting with who and what we are within, and knowing that we are omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. We enter these bodies, and while we're in these bodies, we direct our power and we manifest anything we choose through the body. in the now, through the heart-mind. That's the roadmap. That's not ego mind, not suffering, not disappointment, not pushing, pulling, tugging, but heart-mind, at ease, in peace. Because you have full confidence, trust, faith in yourself and this universe. You don't question, you're not doubting, you're not wavering, you know, emphatically so, who and what you are. And all along, see, we come in to these bodies. Body's born. We're not born. We're eternal. Body's born. We enter the body, and then we experience. And there's things that have been put in place to a certain extent by us so that we can experience and learn and master. Okay? Now, the thing about us coming in and having our memory of past lives removed, that is not us. That is not us. That is not us, gods. That is other beings that are applying that for what's the purpose of it? Well, because they can. There isn't really any purpose coming from them, any exact reason. It's just because they can. Now, as we become fully aware of who and what we are. Now, we've spent a long, long, long time outside, out there. None of us are exempt with it. None of us are exempt. This life, all the lives that we have experienced, we're trained to believe that everything is out there. For the most part. That's what we're trained to believe. We're trained all separation. We're separate from each other. We're separate from God. We're separate from heaven. Okay? We're separate from everything. You're alone. Why do you think so many of us feel what? Alone. Lonely. Because it's been ingrained in this civilization. This species on planet Earth. This is why, and then being locked in with the ego mind, which is highly insecure, you can see the formula. You just step back and you can watch the formula unfold. This is why we're so iffy and not exact. This is why we're always challenging ourselves, questioning ourselves, and doubting ourselves. This is what we do. Okay? What kind of an effect does that have on us? Well, it keeps us subdued from the standpoint of saying, well, okay, we're convinced to believe that we don't have the power. Okay? That you, little old me, can't do this, this, and this. That's just not possible. And isn't that interesting? Because the opposite is true. The size of things, right? We've been taught that too. The larger, the more powerful, right? The smaller, the weaker. And it's actually the volume of space that is possessed or taken up has nothing to do with power. That's why you hear me quote all the time or state that 1 cubic centimeter of space has enough power to boil all the oceans on this planet, on the surface and beneath the surface. Okay? We don't recognize the magic. And the magic is all around us. You're the magic. See, every one of us are the magic. We create phenomenal things all the time. But since we're so preoccupied with ego mind, we miss them. We don't realize it. In heart mind, you really do embrace them all. When you know that you are omnipotently powerful, without a question, without a doubt, okay? And you're not looking at your volume, that you're in this body, right? And you realize that you can manifest anything you choose at a blink of the eye. And you're at total peace with yourself. You've surrendered to the God that you are. And you're in bliss 24/7. You're always in that state. Why? Because it's part of you. Things that are part of you are not going to go away. You're part of your makeup of who and what you are. You're the God. You're the kingdom of God. You're the heaven. Okay? And then, of course, on this planet we're taught that, well, freedom is this, and this. But when you really realize that the true power within us all, for the most part, hasn't been discovered. When the civilization makes its full journey through and with spiritual evolution and resides in heart-mind and has mastered the ego mind and thoughts, then where does that move you to? Where do you go? You're in a much higher vibrational frequency. You're residing by choice, and fifth density dimension, which is all frequency and energy. Right? And since these bodies are outfitted for fifth dimensional frequencies, and how do we know that? Well, you heard me say, why would we have 5 fingers on each hand? Why do we have 5 toes on each foot? Yes, there's a lot of species that are humanoid, but they don't have 5 fingers. They don't. So it's all by choice. Recalling our memories through this process where our past lives, we know them all. We can visit them whenever we choose. But see, in heart-mindedness, that doesn't freak you out. That is a natural state of being. And in ego mind, it freaks you out. There should be so many people that would be so disturbed and bothered and burdened if they were in ego mind and they reviewed their past lives. See the steps that must be taken in certain order and direction for us to reclaim all of it. Right now we have fragments. Well, we're here to reclaim it all. See, when you come to the full recollection and realization that you, the God, cannot be harmed, period. The body, difference, material, physical, can be harmed. But you as the God within the body, in order for the body to continue to carry you, you protect the body. People say, well, how come that couple walking down the street got mugged? And how come this couple didn't? Because the couple that got mugged was manifesting the mugging. Frightened, fearful, worrying, thoughts flying out. and then this sounds strange to a lot of people, but they manifested it. The other couple wasn't even thinking about that. They were thinking about just strolling along. No fear about being mugged. It's like you got two couples, and you have one saying, well, let's go down that alleyway. Immediately they start getting frightened, fearful, because they start conjuring up all kinds of horrible things. The other couple says, why don't we just keep walking straight down here? And so they bypass the alleyway, and they're not concerned about being harmed at all. So they don't manifest it. We manifest it all. We do. People say, well, it wasn't my fault. I happened to be in this particular position or state, and, this happened. You chose to be there at that time. You manifested it. Okay? It's like you're driving along. You take a certain route to some place, maybe to work. You always take it year after year after year, right? And then one day you say, oh, I'm gonna take this other way for a change. Right? You take the other way, and you get an fender bender with your vehicle. Now, why did that happen? Because you chose to take that route other than the route you always would take. And by doing that, you manifested that fender bender. Our thoughts are just thoughts. They're just electrical impulses through our brains. And they don't have any power or authority until you give them that power and authority. See, this is where we become, and the frustrating part is that most people don't know that. In fact, they're not even aware that they're manifesting something through their thoughts or other people's thoughts. They really aren't. It's unconscious, subconscious, unconscious, and it's created. And then they're all freaked out because they go, why did this happen to me? Right? Because you manifested it. It's really, if you really want the truth, that's the truth for all of us. None of it is happenstance. There's no such thing as coincidence. Okay? That word was invented for us to explain things away we don't comprehend. We are always, constantly manifesting everything in our lives. Now, if you said that, to somebody in conversation, maybe now they begin to look at it and say, you might be right there. 50 years ago, he wouldn't have. And see, when you're focused on something, right? Your attention, you place your attention for an extended period of time. That is where our energy flows, and that is what we manifest. Period. Well, how do we know that? Was that just made up? No, it isn't. You've heard me talk about, I've interacted with a lot of different people on this planet through the years. And when you do experiments, it's curious. You're curious, right? You have certain professionals, people that have spent a lot of time in a certain subject or area, right? You say take quantum physics, and so you have people focus. You have people focus on certain things, certain subjects. All of us right now are focusing on something, right? Maybe this meditation, maybe this information that's being shared in the meditation. But we're always focusing on something. And so in quantum physics, when you focus, you could be in a room and it's totally blank. There's nothing in that room. There's 4 walls and a ceiling. and a chair. You're in the chair. And let's just say that you just start staring at one of the walls, right? Particles begin to appear. How is that possible? How is that happening? Well, you're an omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant being that never dies, that is in that body. So you direct your frequency and energy into that one area of the room, and things begin to appear. The longer you focus, the more appears. Right? You take you pull your attention away from that and start over here. That dissipates and goes away. And while then you focus on another, maybe in a corner, and particles begin to appear. And we've done this thousands and thousands of times. And same result. That's how powerful we are. That's why when I say, if there's a storm or something on the planet, and you really don't care to have that storm harm people or, flood or, cause disaster, you can steer that storm away. People go, oh, that's just crazy. That doesn't happen. Really? It's happening right now on this planet. There are those that have discovered this, and not through ego mind, through heart mind. So it's not about proving anything, right? It's not about being big and powerful. It's just that it's a knowing that your power is omnipotent. All of us have that. All of us. And so there's people that would say, well, how come we aren't all using it? It's because most of us, 99.99%, are heavily fixated and entrenched in ego mind direction. That's why. See, in heart mind, you don't have to prove yourself. Don't prove yourself. You're not concerned about what others think or say or do about you. That's all history. It's not an issue at all. It's past. So what's your present moment? You exist in the now. Easily. It's your natural state of being. And in the now, you're in heart mind. Okay? You're not in ego mind. And in the now is where you master your ego mind. See, it no longer is your master. You are its master. It becomes your servant. It's a vehicle, a tool. Okay? And then eventually it discovers that peace is within, and it just kind of sits in the back row, and then eventually it just feels that it's found peace. It doesn't need to be anymore. And remember, it's an illusion anyway. It's really neat. It is cool that we have these frontiers that challenge us, that we create and manifest to do exactly that, to challenge us, so that we can experience and discover. It all leads us where? Within. Not out there. See how? Look at the difference, okay? You see how we have been immersed out there. Look at this planet, okay? Look at the infrastructure. Look, and you can do that by watching and being an observer, not a judger. Observer is through heart, mind, in the now. A judger is through ego, mind. And by observing and watching, you can see it all. It's really neat because you can see all the pieces, and you see them all together, and you see it all operating. And then you realize it's all energy. It's all frequency. It's energies taking different form. That's all. Okay? We're energy. We take on different forms. Yeah? You want to be a pig, you're a pig. Yeah? You want to know what it's like to be a pig. You're not a lower consciousness. you just decide you want to be a pig because you're curious to see what it's like. No different than being a wolf or a cow, or a mule. It's no different. A tree, a leaf, a blade of grass. Okay? Just to experience that. Makes sense, doesn't it? How do you think we create planetary systems, solar systems, universes? Life. We're God. God is life. We create life, okay, as the gods that we are. We don't take life. We create it. But you can see the separation. You can see how deep the separation is, which keeps us, and there is intermingling, there is interference. So when do you take advantage of something? When it's in amnesia, is easy to take advantage of that. When you're in amnesia, because you don't have the memory, isn't it? And then you're informed or educated on a whole different direction. The answer to life is out there. You want to find your answers, go out there, seek your answers. Now we have different forms. Say we've got book learning, and most of the book learning is skewed. It's tampered with. We have that's book knowledge, right? It's like someone teaching somebody something, but all they've done is read books about it. See what I mean? All they've done is read books about it. But they turn around and they teach somebody how to do it. Isn't that wild? Now, ask yourself this question. Would you prefer to learn from someone who has experienced whatever it is they're teaching you? Or would you rather be taught by someone who just read it in a book? I think the answer is the one that's experienced it is the one that you would choose to be educated by. Makes sense, doesn't it? And so that's how powerful experience is. This life is about us experiencing many different things. And the wild thing about it is that we create those things so that we can experience them. Every action we take in life is an expression and an extension of our consciousness. Every action that we take is an extension of our consciousness. Whatever you are feeling about yourself and life, whatever it is right now, is emanating energy out into the world around you. And nothing and no one is separate from each other. We are all impacting each other all the time. By becoming more sensitive to this truth, it becomes obvious how our own limiting beliefs are imprisoning us and stopping us from living the amazing, spectacular, magna, glorious life we were born to live. Can you feel it? The greatest transformations in life often show up in the most subtle and gentle forms. It is vital that we first see where the prisons exist in our lives that we've created for ourselves. Comprehend how each one is sustained each day in order to demolish it from our own minds Initially, we may not see the prison walls around us because we are so used to them. These invisible cell bars are all the limiting, skeptical, doubtful, and negative beliefs we carry each day. It is a long, compromising list of constrictive ideas that we tell ourselves who we are and what is possible, impossible to achieve. To give yourself permission to be totally wild and absolutely free starts with finding and releasing every limiting belief which you are clinging to that makes you feel not so expansive and free. Find those heavy negative thoughts. Which you honestly feel are true and real about you, yourself, yet also make you feel sick, stuck, heavy, and very unhappy. Let them go, because they are just ideas which no longer serve your greatest good. Now, this may sound, ridiculously simple. Yet when you reach down into the core of you, you will find that the truth is that you are the God source itself, making up all the rules as you go. And that is all there is. When you are ready to empower yourself, manifest the most amazing life, you'll discover this truth, and many others will. And then this life just naturally becomes easier, more magical, and amazing. I'll join you in a meditation. I'll return close out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. What area of your life do you most need to create something completely new? Often people get hung up on avoiding the material world because they assume it is not spiritual. Yet, how will you feel when you follow through and complete that one task that you were avoiding doing? This is about being at peace with yourself and your life as it is. Do that one thing today that you've been avoiding doing. This will allow you to be a new being whose mind is calm, bright, and completely at ease. Do not wait. Do that one thing that will put your mind at ease right now. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here Saturday, actually tonight, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health flow and all the rest. And Saturday, October 11, 2025, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, and purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.